All right, so picture this. Midlothian, Texas. April 18th, 2016. It is. It's just pouring rain.
The kind that just, washes everything out, drowns out all the other sounds.
Exactly. And it's nearly 4 in the morning at the Creekside Church of Christ. The place should be completely empty.
Supposed to be. But then the motion-activated cameras, they click on. And what they record is, it's not your typical burglar. Not even close.
It's one of the most genuinely unsettling pieces of footage I have ever seen. You've got this figure just wandering the halls, dressed head to toe in what looks like full police tactical gear.
Yeah, we're talking a heavy vest with police in huge letters, front and back, a helmet, shin guards, gloves, the whole 9 yards.
Then they're holding a hammer.
And that's what makes it so weird, that contrast. You see this intimidating outfit, but the behavior. It's almost leisurely. They're just strolling, casually breaking glass, opening doors. There's no hurry at all.
It creates this really chilling sense of waiting. And that's really the heart of what we're diving into today. The murder of Missy Bevers. We're going to try and unpack this whole mystery.
From the bizarre costume, as we'll get into, to the whole science of gait analysis.
Oh, the gait analysis.
And, of course, how the internet tried and really failed to solve this case. We're looking at police reports, forensic research, everything we can to figure out how someone can be on camera for so long, so clearly, and just vanish.
Okay, so let's stick with that timeline for a minute because it is so haunting. The cameras first catch this person around 3:50 a.m.
Right. So they're in the building for a solid, 20, 25 minutes, just there.
Just existing. And that is a huge red flag for any investigator. Burglars want to get in and get out.
Minimize exposure, right?
Right.
But this person was looking for cash. Nothing was even reported stolen. They were just comfortable.
And the gear itself, the police gear, that's a whole other layer. When you really look at it, the illusion kind of starts to fall apart.
It's a costume. It's a collection of things that look like authority. The vest is too bulky, doesn't fit right. The shin guards look more like something for sports, maybe.
So it's SWAT looking, but it's not real SWAT gear.
No, it's a disguise, a very effective one, meant to hide everything. Height, weight, gender, all of it.
So while this is happening inside the church, Missy Bevers is on her way there. She's a 45-year-old mother of 3, a fitness instructor for Camp Gladiator, by all accounts, just a real force of nature.
And she's on her way to lead a 5:00 a.m. boot camp. But here's the tragic detail. The rain. She usually held the classes outside, but because of the storm, she moved it indoors to the church. She gets there around 4:16 a.m.
So the intruder has been in there for almost half an hour. Missy walks in, probably carrying her equipment, and then, well, that's where the footage we've seen cuts off.
We don't see what happens next. But around 5, when her students start to show up, they find her. She'd been killed. Puncture wounds to her head and chest.
The violence of it is just so at odds with that calm, walking figure. And that walk, the specific stroll, that became the obsession.
This is where we have to talk about forensic podiatry. With no face, no DNA, no fingerprints, everyone just latched onto the movement. The suspect walks with their feet kind of splayed outward. A duck walk.
I remember the forums just exploding over this. People were certain it was a specific injury, a limp, something unique.
Well, it makes sense, right? We recognize our friends from a distance just by how they walk. But we looked at some research here, and the FBI actually brought in a specialist, Dr. Michael Nierenberg. And he basically threw a bucket of cold water on all those theories.
Because of the gear.
Exactly. It's not just a visual disguise, it's a physical one. You strap on a heavy, clunky vest and stiff shin guards. You're not going to walk naturally.
Because your whole center of gravity is off.
Completely. Nierenberg said that when you add all that bulk, your body just instinctively widens its stance to stay balanced. The out-toed walk probably isn't a pre-existing condition. It's just the killer trying not to fall over in their costume.
That just demolishes about 90% of the internet theories right there. But the biggest debate wasn't the limp, was it? It was gender.
Oh, that was and still is the most heated part. So many people saw a feminine sway in the hips. Or there's one moment where the person stands with one foot on its toe.
And people are like, that's it. That's how a woman stands.
Which is. I mean, it's just a huge generalization. Dr. Nierenberg called it a cognitive trap. We see patterns we expect to see. He was very clear. You cannot determine gender from gait alone. Not like this. Assuming it's a woman is just a guess.
A guess that the online sleuths ran with. And this is where the story gets really, really dark for people who had nothing to do with it.
It became a witch hunt. And the first person they targeted was Missy's own father-in-law, Randy Bevers.
They decided his walk matched the killer's?
They did. They put videos side by side.
Yeah.
Then this rumor started that he'd taken a bloody shirt to the dry cleaners right after the murder. And for the forums, that was it.
I mean, a bloody shirt, that sounds bad on its face.
Until you get the context. The police, of course, investigated. They tested the blood. It was dog blood.
Dog blood.
His chihuahua had gotten into a fight with a bigger dog. He carried it, got blood on his shirt, that's it. And on top of that, he wasn't even in Texas.
Right. He had an ironclad alibi.
Totally verified. He was in California. But try telling that to a mob, the damage was done. They went after her husband, Brandon, too, just because they didn't like how he acted in interviews.
The grief police.
Yeah. But maybe the worst story is April Sandoval. She wasn't family. She'd just taken a Camp Gladiator class before.
And what was the evidence against her?
This is how crazy it got. They found a photo of her on Facebook where her foot looked a little swollen, and that became the limp.
You're kidding me? A swollen foot.
That was enough. They found her address, they stalked her Pinterest boards, decided her politics meant she owned tactical gear. They even drove to her mom's house and took pictures of her mom's Nissan Altima because a similar car was spotted nearby.
That's terrifying. Imagine that happening to you.
It's a nightmare. The police had to publicly clear her, but all that time they spent chasing down these baseless theories was time not spent on the real investigation.
Okay, so if the internet was so wrong, what are the real theories police were working with?
It really comes down to two main possibilities: a targeted, personal attack, or a burglary that went horribly wrong.
The targeted hit theory is chilling. The idea that someone put on that whole costume specifically for her.
The violence points that way. It was
Yeah.
personal. And the killer was there so early, almost like they were waiting, like they knew her schedule.
But the burglary gone wrong theory also fits some of the facts. I mean, the behavior on camera doesn't look like a professional assassin.
It really doesn't. An assassin would hide, be patient. This person was making noise, breaking glass. There's also that Nissan Altima that was seen near a sporting goods store just before, flashing its lights.
So the idea is they were casing the store, decided against it, and then saw the church as an easier target.
That's the theory. They break in, they think they have the place to themselves, and then suddenly, Missy shows up early. A surprise for both of them.
But the police costume, that feels like overkill for a simple break-in.
Well, that gets to the compliance theory, which
Mhm.
is maybe the most disturbing part of the disguise. If you're in a building and someone confronts you and they're just wearing a hoodie, you scream, you run.
But if they're wearing a vest that says police...
You hesitate. You think, is this an officer? And that 1 second of confusion, that's all an attacker needs.
And that hesitation... That brings us to the part of this that you mentioned from Dr. Nierenberg, the footage that the public hasn't seen.
Yeah. This part is tough. We've all seen the killer walking around. But the police also have footage of Missy entering the building.
And what does it show?
He described watching her walk down the hall. She's got her gear, just going about her morning. And then she just stops and turns her head.
She heard something.
Nierenberg said it was like watching a horror movie. You, the viewer, you know the killer is in the house. You want to scream, "Get out!" And then you see the character on screen turn their head toward that little noise. And you know what's coming.
At a moment, she realized she wasn't alone.
It's the moment of realization. It brings it all back from this abstract internet puzzle to a real, terrified human being in a hallway.
And after all this time, almost a decade, we still don't know who is at the other end of that hall.
We don't. It seems impossible. With all that video, even some muffled audio of the suspect's voice, the case is cold.
How can someone be so visible on camera and yet so invisible?
It's the paradox of the disguise, right?
Yeah.
The gear made them stand out, but it also destroyed all the forensic clues. The gloves, the layers, the helmet. It worked perfectly.
So where does that leave us? What's the final thought here?
I think we have to consider the killer's mindset. This wasn't panic. It wasn't a crime of passion in that sense.
They were calm.
Way too calm. And Dr. Nierenberg brought up a point that I can't stop thinking about. Maybe the disguise wasn't just for Missy. Maybe it was for the cameras.
You think they knew they were being filmed?
They walked right in front of them over and over. They didn't try to disable them. It was a performance. It's very possible the killer was living out some kind of fantasy, the gear, the calm wandering. It's a performance of power.
They were playing a role.
Exactly. Playing the hunter or the operator.
Mm-hmm.
And Missy tragically walked onto their stage. So you have to wonder, was the murder the goal from the start? Or was it just the horrible climax to the performance they were already putting on?
That makes it so much more calculated. The idea that her fear, that hesitation she must have felt when she saw that police vest, that was all part of the killer's plan.
That's a truly chilling thought.
Mhm.
An act of authority that ended in an absolute tragedy.
This is a heavy one, and it is still very much an open case. If you do go online and look at the video, just keep what the experts have said in mind.
Yeah, don't trust your eyes. The gear lies, the walk lies. And remember, there are real people whose lives get destroyed by baseless speculation.
Missy Bevers deserves justice, not just more theories. We're going to leave it there for this deep dive. Take care of yourselves, and we will catch you on the next one.